Hello, this is Sally Ann. I've been experimenting with a few cards. Just recently, flip cards seem to be all the vogue at the moment. Now, what do I mean by flip cards? Well, let me show you the first card I have here today. The whole point about a flip card is this ability to flip it over. And this is flip card. Now, I've been looking at a lot of dies and thinking, well, I'm sure I can make these flip dies just using my Spellbinders dies. And sure enough, it's possible. This was my first attempt, and I used a Labels 8 die to create this. And I decorated it with pink gelato papers by Kaisercraft. And then I dug out some 3D decoupage sheets I had from Miri Radar. Now, I probably said her name incorrectly, but I'll put the details of the sheet numbers I've used. And it's just die cut with a few foam pads, you can see there. Few pearls, and I made up a happy birthday sentiment, and on the inside just used a Labels 8, decorative Labels 8, the smaller dies to put in the centre, and of course the papers. And on the back it just shows that sheet, but the nifty thing about these is that ability to flip them open. They sit quite nicely like this, and then they just flip open. Cool, huh? So that's the first one I have to show you. The second one I have to show you, this time I used an oval. In fact, I used a variety of Spellbinders dies. I used the grand ovals, one of the smaller dies, the lacy ovals I used there, and on the inside I just used a standard oval die. Really nice effect, I think. They are. This time I used a few K & Company stickers. I have the set here. Unfortunately, I took the wrapping off, so I can't really tell you much about them, but I think they're Garden Life. But really pretty stickers that I used on the outside and on the inside of the card. The papers are Kaisercraft Sweet Nothings, but again, I'll put all those details on my blog, and a few pearls here. But the process is exactly the process is exactly the same. The die in the middle is what creates the flip. They're actually quite easy to make once you've got the principle of knowing where your fold lines are. So that's card number 2. The next card I have for you is this one. I used a Labels 23 grand die as well as the regular dies. I used Tiger Lily, Kaisercraft Tiger Lily papers, and this is a little bit of Sweet Nothings. Few little wired butterflies. I think they're just so adorable. Let me just get those closer. Aren't they just really sweet? We've got like little pearl, diamante sort of crystal, in the middle there. Just gorgeous. And then again, Miri Radar papers, Labels 23 standard. I think that's about as much as I can show you on the front, but then let me show you the flip feature. There we go, just the flip feature. And on the inside, a smaller Labels 23. I just think these are really super cards, and they just look really different. This one's quite busy, isn't it, with the butterflies and flowers on, but quite effective nonetheless. So that's card number 3. And my last card in the series of my experiments, this one used a grand Labels 11, I think. I'll double check that and put it on my blog if I'm wrong. And I used the Lake House papers by Kaisercraft. I have a fondness for their papers. And again, Miri Radar papers, decoupage, 3D decoupage. And this time I just used a little bit of enamel diamond glaze, just to kind of give that I don't know if you can pick up the shine there, but just to give it a little hardened finish. The dragonfly is beautiful too, and I covered that with some diamond glaze. So let's just flip it over and see what's inside. And again, lovely papers. I used another piece of decoupage, some peel-offs to create that process of being able to flip the dies. I don't think you need to buy special dies to do the process. Again, once you understand the principle of where your die folders are. Now I suppose more for myself than anybody, but I created a list of kind of what you can do to make those cards. What I did first of all was to cut a card base of 8.5 inches, or it's about 21.5 centimetres. That's the broad length, and then the depth is about 6.75 inches, about 17 centimetres in that kind of proportion. What you then need to do on your long length, the 8.5 length, is to mark your fold points, and this is quite important because this is where you can either cut the die shape out of your card, or you can leave just that little bit of space where it remains attached, and that's what then provides the flip. So you mark the fold points on the longest side of your paper at 3/4 inches and 4.5 inches. Then you place the die of choice on top of your card base. Score from the very edge of the die up to the edge of the paper either side, not through the die, because that's quite important, but from the edge of the die to the edge of the paper on both lines, and on obviously the 2 points of your die. Then you run through the die, having stuck it down with non-stickable, removable tape. That's what I'm referring to. Put that so it holds your die in place. Put it through your grand caliber, but when you put it through, make sure that the fold line and the piece that you want to cut out is on the die sheets themselves. So for example, if this is the die sheet, I put the first fold line that I want to cut this area, but there's a whole heap of stuff of the card that will fall out this way, that won't get touched by the grand caliber. So there's a little bit of a knack to it. And then finally, you just decorate your card. Well, Claire, I think this is more for you and I, or for other card makers. These are my sizes that I cut my cards to, just in case you're curious. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. Have a go at making them. They're really good fun. See you next time. Bye.